Dads, bottom line up front. Resident Evil 4 Remake is extremely dad compatible. If you're worried a game like this won't fit in your life, that your sessions will be too short or too infrequent, or that you'll lose the plot every time you put it down, I'm here to tell you that you have nothing to worry about. This remake is a verified dad must play. But before we go any further, if up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start means nothing to you, you're probably in the wrong place. This channel is for the dads who remember rage quitting Ghosts and Goblins, LAN parties, and where they were when they first learned what BFG stood for. My goal is to make dad-sized videos for people who still love games, but now have to be intentional about what earns their time. So why is RE4 Remake so dad compatible? It comes down to rhythm. This game is built around short, contained encounters. You're dropped into a space, you solve a problem, usually, but not always, with roundhouse kicks and bullets, and you move on. Exposition dumps are mostly absent, and there are no bloated systems to relearn every time you pick the game back up. That matters when your sessions are only 20 to 40 minutes long. RE4 Remake knows exactly what it is. This isn't an open world game. It's closer to like a carnival ride. The path is intentional, and you decide how fast to move through it. There are side routes and optional detours, but the game never forgets where it's taking you, and it never wastes your time getting there. You can boot it up, clear an area, maybe die once or twice, feel the tension, and still put it down feeling like you made real progress. The combat comes in waves, moments of high anxiety followed by release. It's survival horror. But it's survival horror with a wink. I mean, you can parry a chainsaw with a kitchen knife. The game smartly leans into this gonzo horror as a pressure valve. It keeps the tension fun instead of exhausting, which, I don't know about you, but it's about exactly what my tired brain needs after putting the kids down at night. This remake is also comfortable, forcing you to slow down. Sometimes you're sneaking, repositioning, managing space, or solving light puzzles. Critically, this push and pull of pacing makes dying feel meaningful. This isn't a run-and-gun FPS where you simply respawn because you emptied a health bar. Instead, you were trying not to panic, not to misread a room, not to get cornered. The result is a game that serves terror and adrenaline in deliberate portions, sometimes bite-sized, sometimes a full-course ordeal, all carefully calibrated to never leave you feeling bloated or burnt out. But how does all this actually play moment to moment? You play as Leon Kennedy, who is sent to a remote village to find the president's daughter, and the game wastes no time stripping away comfort. Minutes in, you're surrounded. All you have is a pistol and a knife, and by design, you quickly run out of ammo. It's a brilliant design choice because it forces you into close combat, which feels heavy, almost clunky. But that weight is intentional. It teaches you fear. You learn quickly that difficulty in this game does not come from twitch reflexes. It comes from positioning, panic management, and knowing when to stand your ground or run. Now, to be clear, you still get to create kill boxes with shotguns and grenades, but the game never leans back and lets you coast. As your weapons improve, so do your enemies. Encounters stay fresh, tense, and unpredictable. Like, wait, what the fuck? Are they throwing sticks of dynamite at me now? Yeah, that totally happens. My morning commute became about clearing one more kill puzzle, which is how I started thinking about each new encounter. Take the opening village fight. Do you barricade a door, jump out a window, use your one grenade early, or save it for Mr. Chainsaw Guy? You're making real decisions under pressure. The combat loop ends up feeling like equal parts Metal Gear Solid stealth and desperate John Wick improvisation. It is riveting. The game also has side challenges, a merchant, upgrades, and some crafting, but none of it feels like homework. Systems are folded naturally into your progress, never demanding more attention than you have to give. The merchant is a great example. He doesn't turn Resident Evil 4 into an RPG, but what you purchase subtly shapes how you approach each new encounter. Or there's the attaché case. It sounds trivial, but the decision to pack a fish or extra ammo can be life or death. It's basically Tetris for people who like ballistics. And then there are the boss fights. You're gonna die. You'll try again, you learn how to manage space a little better, conserve resources a little smarter, and then you will eventually prevail. This isn't a Souls-like after all. But all of the boss fights are spectacle. And when the dust settles, you get that glorious B-movie payoff, and Leon will just shrug and say something incredibly stupid like,
"Where's everyone going? Bingo?"
If you grew up on Arnold movies, this shit is just pure cheese. The game knows exactly what it wants to be, and it commits. And as a result, it's just incredibly fun to play. But how does it actually run? On Steam Deck in 2026, really well. Every clip you're seeing here was captured while I was playing. That matters because when recording on the deck, it already takes a small performance hit. On top of that, I forced the output to 16:9 instead of the deck's native 16:10. And I did zero performance tweaking. No plugins, no experimental OS, no YouTube optimized settings. If my experience was this smooth, yours can probably be even better. What really impressed me is where RE4 Remake spends its visual budget. It doesn't chase vanity rendering. Leon's hair looks janky, and I'm genuinely happy about it. Instead, the game puts its resources where the tension lives: lighting, contrast, enemy readability, and animation feedback. On a handheld, that matters way more than raw fidelity. You always know what you're looking at, what's dangerous, and how close you are to screwing up. The trade-off is that the palette can seem muted. Lots of browns, grays, and shadow. But that ends up being atmospheric as hell. But it does mean the game asks for your attention. On a smaller screen, things like the bear traps can absolutely get you if you're half checked out. The lighting is doing impressive work, but you have to meet it where it is. And I want to be clear, none of these minor technical compromises interfere with clarity or suspense. And that is the right trade-off on a device you play while waiting to pick up your kids. Taken together, RE4 Remake feels modern without losing its identity. It understands what actually matters moment to moment, and it's an impressive experience on the Steam Deck in 2026. So let's talk about some dad metrics. Session length. 30 minutes is more than enough time to kill some zombies, solve a puzzle, or complete a side task, and still walk away feeling like you made meaningful progress. What about skill rust? You can come back to this game after a week or more away and get right back into things. It does not require the memory of a FromSoft game or the reflexes required of a competitive shooter, and the map will almost always get you back on track if you forgot which way you were heading. Game length. I spent 19 hours on my playthrough. That included slowing down to get my footage and wanting to spend the time to upgrade my weapons. This game is long enough to build to something fun, but short enough to not wear out its welcome. Stated another way, it's not going to vaporize months of your time. Interruptibility. Checkpoints are plentiful, so you're rarely asked to replay long stretches just to get back to where you were. And on the Steam Deck, the sleep function makes typewriters, the save points, a mere formality. You can turn off this game at a moment's notice. But, full disclosure, if you suspend the game while surrounded by a mob, you are going to reboot right back into it and have exactly half a second to remember that there were cultists behind you. But sometimes a dad's got to do what a dad's got to do. Emotional load. This game is tense, but it's not mean. It asks for focus and rewards it with release. You'll feel the stress in the moment, heart rate up, ache in your shoulders, palms sweaty, but it resolves cleanly. You're not carrying dread with you after you put it down. It's the kind of tension that burns off, not the kind that lingers. Cognitive load. You have to pay attention while playing this game. Balatro, this is not. That distant, low muttering isn't just atmosphere, it's a proximity alarm. That jagged-looking thing, that's another bear trap. If you're autopilot playing after a long day, the game will literally snap you back to attention. Audio needs. Speaking of the sound, audio cues are clear, directional, and readable even at lower volume, which makes this late night, nap time, or partner watching TV friendly without neutering the tension. But that being said, this is a game where sound isn't just for atmosphere. Murmurs, footsteps, sudden spikes aren't decorative. They're information. You can play quietly when you need to, but when you have the chance to turn the sound up, the game absolutely rewards it. Lastly, I want to talk about the nostalgia factor. I played the original Resident Evil 4 20 years ago while home on winter break. A buddy and I picked it up, we holed up in his basement, and basically took turns until we beat it. It's one of those memories that sticks. Not because of the game alone, but because of when you played it, who you played it with, and how the shared experience would always be there as a point of reference in your life. So, I'll admit, I was a little nervous going into this remake. Nostalgia can be fragile. Sometimes revisiting something you love just reminds you of how much things have changed. That didn't happen here. Resident Evil 4 Remake understands what the original meant, and it respects it. It keeps the soul intact, while smoothing out the edges in a way that feels adult. This isn't a remake chasing your memories. It's a game that feels like it grew up alongside you. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a game that respects your time, your attention, and your life. It doesn't demand nightly marathons. It doesn't punish you for stepping away. And it doesn't confuse challenge with exhaustion. Instead, it gives you tightly designed encounters, meaningful tension, and just enough forward momentum that even a 30-minute session feels worth it. On Steam Deck in 2026, it runs well, reads clearly, and fits naturally into the cracks of a busy dad day, which is exactly what this channel is about. For me, that makes Resident Evil 4 Remake a verified dad game. I'm Josh. This is Verified Dad Gamer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.